Howdy, my name is Dane with RoundRocks Fly Fishing in Logan, Utah. I'm going to attempt to start doing a series of fly tying videos, just to get a little information out there into the fly tying world, plus help out the shop a little bit here. Today I want to kind of introduce, I guess, my way of thinking when it comes to flies. And my way isn't a new way of thinking by any means. In fact, I brought an article from Fly Tyer magazine. This is the summer of 2011, so this is a little bit old here, but a great article in here on Charles Cotton's historical flies. And this article was written by Andrew Marshall and photographed by Dave Clausmeyer. I think I'm pronouncing that right, but there's a small section in here that just kind of talks about obtaining materials. In fact, it's entitled Obtaining Materials in the Old-Fashioned Way. And basically it's talking about how when he was trying to find the materials to tie some of Charles Cotton's flies, he's going down the list of ingredients, and there's a lot of things that no longer exist, or he didn't even know what were. And basically what it came down to is Charles Cotton, like any fly tyer at that time, just got their materials from what they had around them, anything they had. If they hunted or farmed or whatever, they went out and they took the feathers and the fur off the animals they had, and anything else they could get a hold of. I found a list of dyes that they used, just natural dyes all the way back in the 1600s. Holly, for example, was used to make purple, and I found it interesting because Charles Cotton did a fly on here, and his description of the body in this is dark violet stuff, basically purple stuff. And the fly indeed is a purple fly. Knowing that, you need to understand that dubbing just comes from anything that's kind of fuzzy and hairy. SLF, for example, super bright. Love super bright. It's just an SLF material. The material they make this out of, they use to make all kinds of different things. And just for an example, I got a SLF Hank, which is, in particular, that color. That Hank is basically what this is. That Hank is made out of SLF material. It's synthetic living fiber. That fiber they use to make string, rope, all kinds of things. In fact, if you find rope that has a few different colors in it you like, you can cut it and unbraid it and basically trim it up into sections and turn it into dubbing. Another one in particular that I found, I went and picked up this blue and purple dubbing that's just kind of a sparkly, kind of a stiff material. It likes to stay straight. And wanting a few other colors, I happened to run across the stuff called angel hair that if I trim it up, it basically ends up looking sparkly and stiff. In fact, I'm pretty certain it's the same material that blue and purple stuff was. It's just in a different form. Now, because this is stiff and spiky, basically, you need to mix it with some sort of a softer material to kind of grip hold of it and make it easier to twist around. And I blend lots of materials together to get where get what I'm looking for, basically. You can blend it almost like paint. As if you mix a blue and a red together, it ends up looking purple. And this particular mix, I've got red, blues, all kinds of stuff. In fact, I've got some odd things you wouldn't normally think of, like a ribbon. I've taken this ribbon and trimmed it into a section and just pulled off materials from this, and you can blend this together and just make a dubbing by itself, but I've mixed it into this dubbing to add just kind of a stiff, spiky blue material that kind of sticks out everywhere. It's a real kinky material too. I've also mixed this, which is a Palmer chenille, and again just taken and trimmed off sections of this. You can see where I've trimmed it here. I'm just trimming off sections And you end up with this fuzzy material. And there's a thin black material, and there's a kind of a greenish rainbow reflective material in there, both. They were kind of a nice blend in this mix also. But when it comes down to it, when you start to actually wrap this up on the string, you're only using just a little bit of it, and eventually when you go to twist this down, even with all those materials, the reds, the blues, the sparkly stuff, it ends up looking almost black. It's because the dominant material in there is black, but that just has a few other colors in there. It's a black with just a few other colors, sparkly, and a bug is multiple colors. It may be dark, but it's going to have just a little bit of sparkle and a few other colors in there. So having some blue and red and purple and looks more natural. And so that's kind of what I'm looking for. And you can see I get the material from everywhere. In fact, in just a moment here, I'm going to tie some flies using a dubbing that I got out of this stuff called Ultra Wing, and basically I've just taken the Ultra Wing, which is, I don't know, 3-4 inches long in general, bunched it up like this, so it's all basically the same length, and started trimming it. And I'm cutting off sections that are a ½ inch to a ¼ inch long, kind of blending them together. If I wanted to do streamers, I'd make them a little bit longer, but in this case, where I'm making a nymph, I'm going to make them just a little bit shorter in general. You see, once I blend that together, I don't have to cut the whole thing at once either. Once I blend that together, I just end up with a dubbing, just like any other dubbing. Just a moment here, I'm going to tie some flies out of this particular Ultra Wing, just to kind of give you an idea of what you can do with this. But I don't quite have enough room on this camera, so I need to remove some film here first. I'll see you on the next film.